Hi everyone, it's Nini. Welcome to my channel. Oh, there goes the cat. Most of my videos about Katie Joy are on the funny side, but I just wanted to share some more serious thoughts about what's been going on the past couple weeks. Before I get into that, I do want to mention a couple things. First, I want to give a shout out to Patty Foster and Deb Hunter. You ladies gave me my first super thanks. That is so appreciated. So thank you so much for doing that. I also want to give a shout out to country girl Brenda because she bought me my first coffee. I set up a buy me a coffee link the other day. Thank you so much, Brenda, for doing that. And Brenda has her own channel. She's been very consistent in her Katie Joy coverage. Like I said, I just wanted to share my thoughts on what's been going on with Katie Joy and the Vaughn and Dre McCray situation. It feels like last week started out on one end of the emotional spectrum and then ended on the other. I mean, it was kind of like, oof. I know I wasn't alone in my feelings when we first started seeing her cover this story, that it was just disgusting because we've seen it before. She's called a trauma vulture for a reason. How many posts did she make on the Gabby Petito situation? I think it was like 1,000, and she made like 20 monetized videos on it. So like at the beginning of last week, watching some of her videos on this, I'm like right away I could smell the hypocrisy because one, she and Dre are like two peas in a pod for the most part, in my opinion. Also just in her coverage of it, like saying we need to all work together, but then at the same time she's telling Molly, don't share the audio, just direct them to my channel for the audio. But that's not working together. When somebody commented on one of her videos to say, yes, share Katie's video, share Molly's video, just because that person had mentioned to also share Molly's video, Katie almost had like an aneurysm. So again, that's not working together. So the hypocrisy right from the start was like red flags to me. So I'm like, I need to put a video together. Wednesday last week though, it was really getting to me. I was trying to watch her lives to get clips for my video, and by Wednesday I'm like, I can't watch anymore because it was hurting my mental health. She doesn't seem to care about others. I teared up watching some of it. The laughing and the smiling and just the disconnect that I interpreted. Like, to me, I could just see it. There's no compassion. I think she sits there and says things that she knows are socially acceptable, like saying the things about when we work together, that's how we bring change. Marvon needs to be treated with respect. I think she says those things because she thinks that's what you're supposed to say. I don't think she means it, and that's my opinion. I hate to say it, but it was kind of sweet then to see. I think Thursday night was when things started to turn and Facebook started to turn on Katie. Molly really started to see her for who she is. It was such a relief to see that people were catching on to her a lot quicker than they normally do, because I know she was introduced to a whole new audience by switching over to Facebook, but it's not going very well. And in my opinion, it's well deserved because we all know she is not in it for anything other than money and views and subscribers. And speaking of subscribers, she's the only YouTuber I know whose views will go down and the subscriber count will go up. Her reviews on Facebook were hilarious because the last I saw, her rating got down to 1.3 stars out of 5. I was looking for her to say that all the negative reviews were just from Dre supporters. When she got hate during her 7M coverage, it was because we were all members of the cult. When she got hate before that, it was because everybody was Duggar huggers or they were paid by Todd Chrisley. I don't know why she can't see that it's not everybody else's fault. She's got an excuse for everything. Somebody said on my video that I was defending Dre. I did point out in my video that she is an addict and she's at the height of an active addiction right now. And I'm an addict myself, so I do have a biased opinion when it comes to addicts, but that does not excuse anything that Dre does. I just think it explains some of her actions. We shouldn't necessarily judge her for them because, you know, when you are at the height of an active addiction, then you're pretty much your worst self at that point. Your judgment goes out the window. I would hate to be judged for things that I've done at the height of addiction. So I try not to judge other people when I can see that they are active addicts. I am so glad too that Molly and Justin were like pulled themselves away from her rather quickly for their sake, because anytime anybody is associated with Katie Joy for anything, it's never ended well. She had a somewhat long-term friendship with Amy Duggar King. Did that last a year or so? That went up in flames. She claimed to be friends with Lindsay Chrisley. That went up in flames. She just doesn't play well with others. That's why it's so frustrating to see her stick her nose into true crime cases, because it never ends well. She pulls drama wherever she goes. She's been kvetching on lives about, come on guys, we just need to stop the drama. We need to stop the drama. And it's like, you're the drama. If she had not inserted herself into this case, there would be zero drama. Other than, you know, the dynamics of what's going on with the family right now, there would be zero drama. I know Molly can be controversial, and honestly, I hadn't really heard too much about her prior to last week. I recognized her name because I remember hearing her name with the Gabby Petito situation, because she had been out on the front lawn, which I don't think that helped matters. I don't think it necessarily hurt anything, but I really don't think it did anything. And I know I have a biased opinion of Katie Joy. Obviously, I don't like her. You can say, well, Molly's making video after video about it too. Yes, but there's something about when watching Molly and Justin talk about it and watching Katie talk about it, you can just see the difference. And again, I know I'm biased, but like I said, I really didn't know Molly or Justin going into this. I just got the vibe that they're doing it for the right reasons. Like, they care. We all knew that it would only be a matter of time before Katie would dig up something out of Molly's past and flaunt it on the internet to make it look like that makes her a bad person. But it was so hilarious because it backfired. Molly had been arrested, I think 3 years ago. Katie tried to put that out there on a post, but Molly has her mugshot on merchandise. She's got a mug, she's got a pillow. So I mean, she owns it. And that's what I love about people. When you've done shitty stuff or you have flaws and you own it, I think that is such a mature and good thing. But like, we all knew it, because that's what Katie Joy does. If she doesn't like you, she will dig up something in your past that really doesn't matter, but she thinks it's gonna like make you out to be the bad person. I mean, we all have a past. We all make mistakes. She just loves to sit there behind her keyboard and be like, when she was 15 years old, she was 10 minutes late coming home from curfew. She does not recycle. She took the clothes out of the dryer and she did not fold them. She just left them in a pile on the table. Her hair color is not her natural hair color. I learned long ago that people do shitty things. It does not necessarily make them shitty people. Katie has a DUI on her record, so she really should not sit there and throw stones at other people. She could have killed somebody with her mistake. Thank goodness she didn't. We all have a past. Those things do not necessarily make you a bad person. That's her go-to for being like, see, I'm a good person. This person is bad because of this and this and this. I think what makes you a bad person depends on how you treat other people. And back to that audio, I saw on Country Girl Brenda's YouTube, Katie had put up a post saying that the source who had told her that the audio was only meant to be released by Katie sent her a message saying that, stop the hate against Katie Joy. I'm the one who told her not to release it. But then she deleted it within like 2 or 3 hours. I don't know if people pointed out to her that the source actually went on Molly's channel and said, no, I did not tell her she needed to be the only one to release it. And she supposedly also talked to other people who had given Katie Joy audio, and they're like, no, yeah, we didn't tell her she needed to be the only one. It sounds like the consensus was they didn't care who released it, they just wanted to be anonymous. So I don't know if people pointed that out to Katie and were like, hey, this post is more of your bullshit because obviously this isn't true. So I don't know if that's why she deleted it.
I just don't delete things.
who knows. She had a Facebook Live last night where she was just having a hissy fit about Molly. It's like everything she's saying about Molly were the same things that she was saying about Emily D. Baker. Like saying how Emily won't stop talking about me and Emily's gonna get a cease and desist. When really Emily didn't talk about her. I think that's the same with Molly. I think Molly has mentioned Katie a couple times, but I don't think she's making like post after post about it. And she was saying that she was gonna send Molly a cease and desist. For what? What did Molly do? Molly hasn't said anything that you could send her a cease and desist for. But that's another one of Katie's go-tos. I mean, we all know she was the kid on the playground running to the teacher being like, Tommy won't get off the slide. I mean, that's just her go-to. She's so predictable. I'm gonna make a prediction right now. One of these days, we are gonna see her pull out her son for sympathy. She did that after she took away Jessa's sponsorship and got a lot of backlash for that. She went on a live crying because some minister said something about disabled kids were like demons or something. I forget exactly what it was. That was a few months ago when I was in the middle of drinking pretty much every night to cope with grief. My brain cells aren't all intact from that time period. But like, I look for something like that to be coming eventually with this situation. I do like that Katie is talking about Kratom. I think the more that people talk about how dangerous it is, I think that's a good thing. Katie has a big platform. Why not shift the focus off of accusing Dre of murder? Because that was never the goal anyway. Like, the whole goal of all of this was just for Marvon McCray's mom to be able to see her son in the hospital. Like, that was the whole goal, I thought. Not that Dre was behind him being in a coma. Like, that was not the goal. I would love to see her focus more on Kratom just in general. She does love to sit there and Google stuff and find out information. I'm sure she could find several stories about people who have had bad experiences with Kratom and shared those stories. I think that would be a better use of her platform than accusing someone of murder. I'm sure her lawyers would agree. I think those are all the thoughts that I had on this case that have been rumbling around in my head for the past couple of weeks. This is still ongoing. To quote Def Noodles, and now for a palate cleanser. My cat Walter. I got Walter a few months ago from the Humane Society around the time that my dog died. He's my little buddy now. Though he's not so little, he's 18 pounds. We're kindred spirits because he's overweight, he eats his feelings, and he farted on the way home. So, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.